So there's two movies starring Mads Mikkelsen coming out within a week of each other. One is called Polar, the other Arctic. Yeah, I don't see how that could be confusing. But after a bit of reading, turns out they're two very different movies. This one is based on a graphic novel, which really isn't my favorite thing, and the other one is more of a wilderness survival thing. It also looks a lot more like something I'd actually enjoy. This one, as of writing, is also sitting at a nice 16 out of 100 on Metacritic, which is easily one of the lowest rated movies I watched in a while. However, I'll pretty much give anything with Mads Mikkelsen a shot, even if it looks like a disaster, and well, disasters can be fun too. So I press play and dive in, and I'm immediately enjoying it. The title card just grabbed my attention, it's impactful and in your face. Then we get to the actual intro sequence and it reminds me a lot of Crank. The editing is snappy with quick effective cuts, it's over the top, it's colorful, sort of ridiculous and crude and, well, immature to be honest. But it seemed to be self-aware and have fun with it, so I'm just going with it. And I think that's most likely the issue here, people didn't go with it. And if you don't go with it, I can see why you'd hate it, because it's easy to hate. There are a lot of things you can point to as being quote-unquote bad. Not really in a technical sense, because it's well shot, good looking, and it knows exactly what it's doing. And I would have probably still enjoyed this thing if that was all it had to offer. But that's not all it has to offer. Because we then get to the portion of the movie with Mads Mikkelsen. He's an assassin who's about to retire. And this portion of the movie looks and feels completely different. It's not as colorful, there are no quick cuts. It's a lot slower and more deliberate. It's mainly about him dealing with life and adjusting to retirement. It's a lot more down-to-earth-ish and a lot less bombastic than the other stuff in this movie. There's even some legit serious drama in there too. But it's also darkly comedic, something I always appreciate. And for the first hour of the movie it basically jumps between these two modes. It's like it cuts between two different movies. Again, something you just have to go with. And something I thought worked really well, but could see people having problems with. You could call it bipolar and say it feels disjointed and doesn't know what it wants to be. But that's not true. It knows exactly what it wants to be. Case in point, the second hour of the movie, where the two halves meet. You'd think there would be a clash between the two styles, but there really isn't. It marries them pretty seamlessly, and I liked it. That last part of the movie is more like a John Wick type action movie, just a lot more over the top, and I think it works. I really liked it and enjoyed it. It was just a lot of fun to me. And Mads Mikkelsen is just brilliant. I mean, he gives this everything. I loved him in this, and it just shows the range this guy is capable of. Now, it's not a perfect movie, there are some weak spots. But they're not that many, and some of them feel like nitpicks. Like the story, the actual plot here, it's nothing special. It works, it does what it's supposed to, but that's it. It's predictable and very straightforward. Nothing about the story surprised me, except one twist at the end, that I feel like I should have seen coming. And it's my only real complaint here, not because I didn't see it coming, but because I don't know how I feel about it. It sort of worked, but it just felt a bit unnecessary. And well, some of the CGI is less than stellar, but it worked for the style it went for. But yeah, those are my only real issues with the movie, because I just liked it a lot. That being said, I can completely see why people might not like it. But at the same time, I'm kinda surprised it's been this universally disliked. Because it's a well-made movie that knows exactly what it's doing. It had a plan of action and executed it. About as well as it could have. And I can't help but to feel like this one is genuinely misunderstood. But would I recommend it? Yeah, give it a shot. Or don't. I'm not your dad. Also, I'm trying to sell out, so consider liking, subscribing, hitting that bell and supporting me on Patreon. Because I really need that ruby covered eye patch.